Calvin Klein shook the international entertainment world with an unexpected move, announcing a major project involving BTS's Jungkook on an unprecedented scale. Yet, amid the euphoria of fans, one unavoidable question arises. What is HYBE's reaction and position regarding this bold step? This incident is not just an ordinary brand collaboration, but a strategic maneuver with the potential to change the landscape of the relationship between a megastar and his agency. This move comes at a time when Jungkook's position as a global icon is at its peak. Calvin Klein, which had previously appointed Jungkook as brand ambassador, is now rumored to be preparing an international campaign estimated to reach a fantastic value, with a promotional concept that will involve a global stage, major media, and cross-industry exposure. Internal sources close to the project state that the campaign will not only focus on the fashion line, but also expand into exclusive segments usually reserved for public figures with extraordinary appeal. On the other hand, Jungkook's involvement in this project raises big questions among industry observers. Is HYBE fully behind this decision? Or is it merely a spectator in an agreement seemingly arranged directly between Jungkook and Calvin Klein? This speculation arises because of the scale of the campaign, which is said to involve looser creative control than usual, giving Jungkook room to determine his direction without full agency intervention. It should be noted that collaborations between international brands and K-pop artists usually go through a series of strict negotiations involving management, exclusive contracts, and complex commercial rights distribution. However, in this case, the signals point to a different pattern. Industry sources claim Calvin Klein moved quickly, taking advantage of Jungkook's still powerful global momentum following solo activities and BTS's individual promotions. For Calvin Klein, Jungkook is not just a campaign model, but a face capable of uniting the Asian, American, and European markets. Marketing statistics from previous projects show a significant sales spike each time Jungkook's promotional material is released. This is why many believe Calvin Klein's latest move could be one of the most impactful fashion campaigns of the decade. However, behind the glitter of these achievements, whispers of possible tension begin to emerge. HYBE, which has always managed every public step of its artists, now faces the reality that one of its biggest talents is increasingly independent in shaping his image and commercial portfolio. The question arises, is this the beginning of a new paradigm where an artist like Jungkook has full freedom, or an indication of a shift in power behind the scenes? This situation is even more complex given that BTS is currently in a period of major transition. With most members still completing mandatory military service and group activities limited, every individual move becomes a primary spotlight. Calvin Klein's decision to launch this campaign at such a moment adds a strategic dimension that cannot be underestimated. This is not just about fashion or promotion, but about who controls Jungkook's career direction in the future. Not a few analysts see this move as a major test for the relationship between Jungkook and HYBE. On one hand, the agency's support for this collaboration would strengthen the positive public image that they give freedom and full backing to their artists. On the other, if there is an impression that HYBE is not in full control, the developing narrative could lean towards speculation of a power shift that may not always be favorable for the agency. Fans are also divided. The majority of ARMY welcomes this news enthusiastically, praising Jungkook's courage in exploring global opportunities. However, some worry that excessive focus on commercial collaborations could divert attention from music projects or group activities. This sentiment is reinforced by the fact that a campaign of this magnitude usually requires long preparation time, which could affect the artist's overall schedule. In the history of brand and K-pop artist relations, it is rare to see a moment where a brand has a bargaining position equal to the agency, let alone dictate the campaign narrative independently. Calvin Klein, through this move, seems to have created a new precedent that will be discussed in the entertainment and fashion industry for years to come. As the story continues to develop, the spotlight is now on what HYBE will do. Will they openly reinforce their support, or choose to let the public narrative develop without intervention? This decision will be a key signal, not only for their relationship with Jungkook, but also for other artists under the agency. One thing is clear. This collaboration is not just about a photo shoot or a new collection launch. It is a grand stage where reputation, business strategy, and career future are at stake. And until all parties reveal their next steps, one thing is certain. Calvin Klein's big surprise for Jungkook has opened a new chapter in the dynamic between a global artist and the powers behind him. However, after various speculations spread wildly on social media and fan forums, the latest facts reveal that the information about Calvin Klein's big surprise for Jungkook, as widely reported earlier, is not accurate. Based on an in-depth verification from several credible industry sources, there is no concrete evidence to support the claim that Calvin Klein is preparing a massive campaign that would alter the professional relationship between Jungkook and HYBE. From the start, this news emerged from incomplete pieces of information, spread in chains, and then interpreted excessively. Some social media accounts even modified cropped images from Jungkook's previous Calvin Klein campaign to give the impression that they were part of an undisclosed new promotional material. In reality, after tracing them, those images came from promotions launched in an earlier period and are unrelated to any new project. The parties claimed to be involved in this big deal also denied having any knowledge or participation in such a plan. Sources within the international fashion industry confirmed that Calvin Klein still maintains a good relationship with Jungkook as brand ambassador, but there is no large-scale global program currently being prepared. This statement is reinforced by promotional calendar records showing that the brand's campaign schedule is already filled with other collaborations that do not list Jungkook's name for the upcoming period. In addition, the claims about a shift in control or full freedom supposedly given to Jungkook in this collaboration actually stem from personal opinion built on assumptions, not from factual information. In the entertainment and fashion industry, the division of roles between artist and brand is always governed by detailed contracts, and in this case, there is no significant change triggering suspicions of tension between Jungkook and HYBE. Further examination also found that some entertainment news portals that initially carried this narrative relied on unverifiable anonymous sources. Several even requoted social media posts without validation. This triggered a snowball effect where false information kept rolling and gained false legitimacy as it was repeated on multiple platforms. The reality is that neither Calvin Klein nor Jungkook is currently engaged in preparations for a major fashion project as the main focus. Jungkook's activities remain in line with the official schedule planned with his management, while Calvin Klein is also focused on a series of previously announced campaigns. There is no sign that their collaboration will end, but neither is there any indication that a major launch is planned beyond the existing agreement. It is important to note that such phenomena are nothing new in the entertainment world. Jungkook's global popularity makes his every move a subject of public speculation. Major brands like Calvin Klein often use certain moments to reignite public interest in their collaborations, but this does not mean every circulating rumor has a factual basis. In recent days, several media outlets that had previously published speculative stories have begun revising their articles, removing or updating sections containing baseless claims. These changes were made after they received internal clarifications and found that the initial information they received could not be proven true. Therefore, it can be concluded that the reports about Calvin Klein's big surprise for Jungkook, which was said to influence relations with HYBE, are merely the result of incorrect interpretation and the merging of incomplete information. The facts available today show that the professional relationship between Jungkook, HYBE, and Calvin Klein remains stable, with no secret project or major strategic move planned behind the scenes. To the public, this incident serves as a reminder that fast-spreading information in the digital world often requires strict verification before being accepted as truth. Sensational and dramatic narratives do attract attention, but without a strong factual basis, such news is nothing more than rumors that cloud perception. In this context, neither Jungkook nor any related party has confirmed the existence of the project in question, and there are no official documents, new contracts, or public statements supporting the claim. Ultimately, this report underscores the importance of relying on clear, verifiable sources. In the global entertainment world, where reputations and professional relationships can be affected by a single false piece of information, accuracy is the highest priority. The big surprise, Calvin Klein for Jungkook, which once made the public speculate, never existed in the form described. All parties continued to carry out their activities as planned long before, without hidden drama or internal conflict as had been discussed. This development also highlights the evolving challenges faced by high-profile artists in the digital age, where a single rumor can spread globally within hours, creating a wave of public expectation and media coverage that may have no basis in reality. In Jungkook's case, the speed at which the speculation about Calvin Klein's major surprise gained traction illustrates how celebrity culture, brand marketing, and social media can intersect to produce a narrative that appears convincing but is ultimately unfounded for brands, agencies, and artists alike. This incident is a cautionary example of the need for clear communication and the dangers of leaving public interpretation unchecked for too long. Even though no harm appears to have been done to Jungkook's image in this instance, repeated exposure to misleading stories can erode trust between public figures and their audiences over time. Ultimately, while the allure of sensational headlines will always exist, it is the responsibility of both the media and the audience to demand facts over speculation. For now, Jungkook, HYBE, and Calvin Klein remain on stable ground, their professional relationship intact and free from the dramatic shifts suggested by false reports. The truth, in this case, is far quieter than the rumors.